All right, let's call the meeting to order. It's now 7:33 p.m. Good evening, all. Today is July 10, 2024. This is the meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge. This meeting of the Municipal Land Use Board of the Borough of River Edge is being held remotely and recorded via Zoom due to Borough Council Chambers unavailability and is in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act and associated regulations. Notice of this remote meeting was published in the Bergen Record, posted on the front doors of Borough Hall, and posted on the borough's website. The notice included the dial-in and login information necessary for public participation and access to this meeting remotely. A copy of the agenda for this meeting was made available on the borough's website near the posting of the meeting notice and included the dial-in and login information. During the public comment period of this meeting, if you would like to make a public comment, please press the raise hand button on Zoom or dial *9 on your telephone keypad to raise your hand. The board will address you by name or by the last four digits of your telephone number. You may mute and unmute yourself by pressing the microphone icon on Zoom or dialing *6 on your telephone keypad. You must state your name and address clearly prior to making a public comment. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Steinle. Good evening. If you call the roll, please.
Hello, thank you. Mr. Mayor,
Here.
Mr. Caslin,
Here.
Ms. Boland,
Here.
Mr. Merman,
Here.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Here.
Mr. Cray. I think he's absent at the moment. Mr. Canigo,
Here.
Councilman Glass,
Here.
Mr. Gibbons is also absent at the moment, and Mr. Bastide is excused tonight.
Okay.
Also present, Jason Flores from our board engineer's office and our zoning officer, Mr. Dutkin.
Okay, thank you very much. As a matter of housekeeping, hopefully we won't get that far, but we're going to have a 9:30 p.m. curfew this evening. With that, the first item on our agenda this evening is approval of minutes from our June 26, 2024 meeting. While we did get a draft set of minutes circulated earlier today, I'm actually going to have that carried to our next meeting to give the board a chance to not only review them, but also they need to be supplemented. There apparently was some audio that may have been garbled, and that will be cleared up in a supplement to the draft that was circulated today. And with that being the case, I think we will move that to our meeting on the 24th. So moving along, we do not have the memorialization available for the Molinet application, so we'll proceed into completeness review. The applicant is Carmelo and Keon Vasquez. The property is 792 Park Avenue. This is block 213, lot 21. Application for proposed above ground pool exceeding maximum coverage, improved lot coverage, and other nonconformities. Ms. Steinle?
Yes, thank you. So I reviewed the proof submitted by the applicant prior to this meeting and found them to be sufficient for the board to have jurisdiction over the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dutkin?
Would you like me to give a synopsis of what this is about, or you wanted to
Yep.
Take care of it? So we're going to be starting. Is this new business?
This is completeness.
Completeness.
Right.
Okay. So do you want me to explain? This is the first one I've taken over from Tom, and when I did the calculations, they were different from Tom. Tom was giving me some input in what he did, and the lot is over on building coverage and lot coverage. It's pre-existing. It's been there for a while. I don't know if some of those improvements like the decks and things and patios were approved. I have no record of that because we don't have the block and lot records in the office. But basically, it's a mud ground swimming pool. It's not that major a deal. The issue I had, and I wanted clarification on, was the code section 416-15 with maximum improvement coverage. There's an exception in there that, and I didn't understand, that where the existing driveway extends to a garage located at the rear of the lot, the paved area from the front of the dwelling to the front of the garage shall not be included in the calculations. So that I didn't understand. I didn't know why that was there. It's impervious coverage, and it's a question that I want to, is that something that needed to be changed, or is it something that I'm missing that the borough is looking to keep?
Why don't we hold that question for now?
Okay.
If there's anything from your perspective that would hold us back from deeming the application complete at this point based on the
No, I
submissions you've
don't.
seen?
I think that would be the only one.
Okay.
All the other information has been submitted, and I think the board has a good knowledge of the property.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Flores,
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
good evening.
So our office review the sketch for the proposed improvement prepared by the applicant. We also review the property survey prepared by Mr. Costner Associates, the letter of denial from Mr. Depkins, and the survey, and some photos that the applicant submitted with the application. We review all those documents, and we found them to be sufficient, for the board to, for the application to proceed tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Questions from the board on completeness? Okay. There being none, I'll look for a motion on the application, deem it complete.
So moved.
So made.
Second.
All right, I'm gonna give Mr. Canigo the first on that and the second for Mr. Merman.
All right.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Canigo,
Yes.
and Councilman Glass. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman, I didn't hear you.
I said yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you. All right, the
Thank you.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Our next item under completeness this evening, the applicant is J&L Hunt. Property is 216 Dorchester Road. This is block 708, lot 20. Application for a proposed two-story addition, one-story addition, front covered porch, patio, and expansion of driveway. Looking for variance relief for lot coverage and improved lot coverage. Ms. Styling.
Yes, thank you. I did review the proof submitted by the applicant prior to this meeting and found them to be sufficient for the board to hear the application tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Depkin?
Okay, I got the gist of this now. Okay. Yeah, the information that's been submitted, I think it's ample and sufficient to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Flores?
Like I said before, all the information provided is sufficient for the board to proceed with the application.
Okay, thank you. Comments from the board, questions from the board as to completeness? Okay, there being none, I'll look for a motion to deem the application complete.
So moved.
I got the first from Mr. Pfeffer. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Canigo,
Yes.
Councilman Glass.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move now under the new business section on our agenda. The first application we're going to hear this evening is Carmelo and Kyung Vasquez. The property is 792 Park Avenue, block 213, lot 21, seeking variance for an above-ground pool exceeds maximum coverage. I believe the applicant is here this evening. Good evening.
Evening.
Hi.
Do
Hello,
you-
I'll hop. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to ask is there anyone else appearing with you this evening or no, just you? Okay. All right. Our board attorney is going to swear you in.
So if you please raise your right hands, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, and please state your name and address for the record.
Kian Vasquez, 792 Park Avenue, River Edge, New Jersey, 07661.
Thank you.
Carmelo Vasquez, 792 Park Avenue, River Edge, New Jersey, 07661.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening. So if you can, for the board, would you provide us with a brief summary of what it is you're intending to do and what you're looking for relief from the board this evening?
So we are proposing to install an oval above ground pool. It's 12 by 20. And I'm not sure if you're able to tell from the pictures, but our backyard is sort of like tiered. We have 3 levels, and so the pool would go at the bottom level, which is behind the train station. So we live behind the River Edge train station. And when we submitted a permit for the town, I guess it's been 2 years now, we found out that we would be going over the maximum lot coverage. And so it's taken a while for us to get the paperwork ready because we had to get a new survey done. And then this other ordinance we found about the driveway came into play, and then there was a transition from Tom to Steve. And so there was a lot of paperwork that happened in the past couple years, but we're now applying for the land use board hearing to sort of understand what that ruling is and what percentages will be over for the variance request. Oh, and then so
Okay.
the other thing too is we are proposing to remove we have a 2-tiered deck as well that came with the house, and the wood is rotting on the deck, and so we needed to replace that anyway. So to sort of relieve the percentage, we are proposing to remove the 2nd tier of the deck, which isn't being utilized anyway. And there are 2 pieces of concrete, 3 pieces of concrete on the 2nd level that is just kind of randomly placed. And so that is also being removed, which would alleviate the variance.
And also
So-
for the record, when we purchased in 2019, the house was as is. So the deck was there, was pre-existing, and so was the concrete.
Okay. Could you confirm which part of the deck it is that you're removing?
It's
look-
if you're looking at the back of the house, it's still the small portion on the right, on the side of the house.
Okay, so on the drawing, okay, so it's the smaller of the 2 decks marked on a plan. That's the
Correct.
It looks like it's got an X. Okay.
Yes.
And just confirming the size of the pool is the pool size 12 by 20 still?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me turn to our professionals at this point. Mr. Depkin, I'll start with you.
Okay. Yes, I apologize to the applicants. This has been going on for quite some time. With the midst of going between Tom and then to me and getting the proper documents. But the one survey is indicating exactly what they want to do. It's all pre-existing lot coverages that were over. But again, it's, I'm going to say just an above ground pool. So it's not, I don't think it's taking away or adding too much to the property. The fact that they're taking away a 3 by 3, they're going to remove the stairs on the deck, and then a 9 by 10 section of the deck is going to be removed. For the concrete, well, again, the deck, it's a 2-foot by 12-foot reduction of the deck. There's no arrow indicating that. I think it's the upper deck, I guess. I don't know. And then for the concrete, it's a 10-foot by 11 removal of the concrete, section that you can see Xed, and another 3.5 by 3.5 concrete area that also has an X to it. There's a slight arrow on that deck, so I think they're just taking off a portion of that deck area, and that would really balance out what they're proposing to put the calculations for the pool. Again, this doing the calculations, they're all pre-existing coverages that are over, and I don't know how they got there, so I don't know how you would want to address that. But again, this section in the code in regards to permitting the exception where existing driveways go from the front of the house to the front of the garage not being calculated in lot coverage. I don't know whether you want to try to amend that in the code, or is there something that I'm missing that the borough is looking to do for any detached garage?
That is something that the borough has done in the past, and Tom Behrens gave us, I don't want to say a dissertation, but a lesson about it. A couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, there was an application on either Poplar or Myrtle Avenue, and there was a detached garage, and the same question came up, and he talked to us about it. And it had been discussed before, and I can't remember all the reasons. I think Tom Behrens is just going to have to answer these questions because he's well versed in it. But there were reasons, and everybody at the time, I recall, agreed that it's something that we would want to keep. So I think that calculation should be considered here.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe in the future, I know that we were discussing things about stormwater management, and those sections, that calculation, that's a large area to just eliminate. Now that they have permeable pavers and drainage in the driveways and stuff. Not speaking about this application, but in the future, maybe the board would want to look at that differently.
And
That's-
just to add to that, if I may, the code as it's written today is what is applicable to this application. So the applicant will get the benefit of that reduction of impervious coverage from the front of the house to the front of the detached garage. So that coverage shouldn't be included in the calculation. And I believe in Mr. Costa's report, it clarified that.
Good. Okay, that's all I have, Chairman.
I think, Mr. Chairman, you just said something, but you're on mute, so we didn't hear you.
Thank you. I don't know how that happened. Mr. Flores, if I can turn to you.
So like Mr. Depkin said, regarding this ordinance about from 416-15 with a maximum improved lot coverage going from the frontage of the house to the detached garage, it has been clarified, so it's not going to be included. And just to put it out for the record, so the applicant is proposing to remove a combination between the deck and the concrete path of concrete patio that they have in the back, roughly an area of 245 square feet. The pool that they want to add, the above ground pool that they want to add is 240 square feet. So it's balancing out. And that's not taking in consideration now, the new ordinance that is taking in place where, if you have, if your deck is open, then you have 75% credit. As the above ground pool is, is because of the configuration of the lot that you really have a big drop going from Park Avenue all the way to the back of the property. It's very hard to bring a machinery in there. So that's why I guess one of the reasons why the applicant is proposing a raised pool there. And since whatever they're removing, whatever they're installing is balancing out, I don't see any other comment on that. I don't see. My recommendation for the board will be just use some application that should be approved.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Let me turn to the board now. questions? Ms. Boland, I'll start with you.
So my only question is, so what is the proposed coverage now? Is it the existing 41.9%?
I think Mr. Flores could answer that one.
Yes. So if we remove, well, we're gonna remove that automatically. So they are proposing a lot coverage of 2,094 square feet, which is roughly 35.8%. That's what they're proposing. However, if we take in consideration the new ordinance where they get credit for the deck and they get credit for the deck, they will be roughly 35.6% on the improved lot coverage.
Okay, that was it. I just as far as the driveway goes, I know I was interested in that because I have the same situation. I think the intent was to not penalize homeowners who have a detached garage in the rear yard and are forced to have a long driveway, that you wouldn't be penalized for coverage. If we were to change it, I would say maybe only for stormwater management, but not for, allowable coverage.
Okay,
But
thank you,
that's
Ms. Boland.
separate.
Thank you.
Can I point out something else?
Yes.
So just so I can put that out of the record.
Sure.
The existing lot coverage is roughly 1,453 square feet. So 1,453 square feet. They're proposing to remove 123 feet of deck, which counts as a lot coverage. If we take that deduction out of their existing lot coverage, they will be roughly at 1,320 square feet, which is going to be below 25% of what they're allowed. So that variance will go away. But they still have a variance in improved lot coverage for about like an extra 1%. Just to put out of the record, out on the record.
So just to confirm, so what's the improved lot coverage now being proposed?
The improved lot coverage being proposed is going to be 2,094 square feet, and the lot coverage is going to be 1,320 square feet.
So the improved lot coverage will be 35.8% proposed,
Roughly.
and the proposed lot coverage will be below 25. So it'll trying to do the math.
24.1%.
24.1. Okay.
Okay,
20,
so that does away with the lot coverage variance. Okay, very good. Moving along, Mr. Pfeffer.
Yes, thank you. I don't see anything controversial about this project, but just to get it on the record, when you remove the concrete from below the deck, do you have any intention of replacing the concrete with any kind of material, or just leaving it dirt, or what's the plan for that area?
So the other half of that area is already grass, and so we're just gonna extend the grass.
Okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Based on the previous questions and the testimony from Mr. Flores, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Councilman.
Sorry, I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kanigo.
No questions. The project looks good, and I think it's going to be an improvement. And again, we're taking all these case by case basis. So in this case, I think it makes sense, and especially given the location, the storm water management issues are different down there than they are in other parts of town. So I take that into consideration as well, and I think this project should be allowed to go forth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Merman.
Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Dick.
Better now?
There we go.
Yes.
Okay, I slid some papers and hit it. Okay, so I did get to physically site today and discussed with the applicant what was happening. For the record, I would just like the applicant to state if he looked at other options other than a pool there, such as maybe joining the local swim club.
So we were part of the swim club. We have an older daughter who is going to be 13 years old, and she really doesn't want to go back to the swim club. We also have my mom that lives with us, who's, I won't say older because she'll get mad at me. She's young in heart, but she is older and she doesn't really care for public spaces. And it's hard for her to come outside onto the deck because it's really hot right now. So to have a pool that she can hang out with the kids would be really fun. And having daughters, we only have daughters, we have no boys. We kind of want to keep them home instead of going to other people's houses. So.
Okay, fine, very good. Mr. Chairman, having visited the site, having discussions with the applicant, I have no further questions, and I think that it's my opinion. I think that the reduction of prior overage is to the benefit of the town.
Okay, thank you, sir. I just have just one question, just for the record. What's the height of the pool from that grade? How high is the pool going up?
I think it's 5 feet, 4 or 5 feet.
I believe do we have the paper? I believe it's 4 feet.
Let me look it up.
Okay.
Was for the depth is 46 inches.
So just under 4 feet. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Okay, I concur with the rest of the board. I see nothing objectionable about the application here. With that, let's open this up to public comment. Ms. Steinle, do we have anybody in the audience?
There are no members of the public.
Okay, so can we
So
dispense with
there being
opening? I imagine we-
no members of the public, we can close that portion of the meeting.
Okay, very good. All right, at this time, I'll move to the board for any final comments, questions from either board or the professionals.
I did
Just a
have-
reminder that once
there
they,
being none,
if they obtain approval, they need to get permits to install the pool.
Okay, very good. With that being said, I will look to the board for a motion on the application, please.
May I volunteer, Mr. Chairman?
If you would, Mr. Merman.
Okay, regarding the Valcase application at 792 Park Avenue, block 213, lot 21, River Edge, regarding a installation of a above ground pool, which encompasses several removals of existing structure. It is noted that the lot coverage will be reduced below the permitted 25%. Therefore, the previous variance disappears as non-existent. So we merely have to address the improved lot coverage for the structures. The maximum allowable being 35%. The existing, I think we'll have to fill that in, Mr. Flores. But the proposed improved lot coverage, I believe, it becomes 35.8%. When the project is finished, subject to review by the number review by Mr. Costa's office. Mr. Costa's report did have several conditions in it. I believe one of them was submitting a new site plan that was delineating all the removals a little bit clearer than was submitted with the application. And Mr. Costa's office also had a number of that I think need to be incorporated. And I'll let the report.
Mr. Merman, you're
stand
breaking
on-
up.
I'll let the report stand on its own. How's that? Okay.
Okay. Just to confirm, the applicant has no objection to complying with the conditions in Mr. Costa's report?
Say again?
You have no objections to the complying with the conditions that are listed in the Costa engineering report, just about submitting the site.
All of that's
site
gonna be-
plan.
Yeah, all of it's gonna be done, and we'll update the site plan and submit it to the town.
Okay, very good. All right, so with that, Mr. Merman's motion, is there a second, please?
Second.
Second.
Wow, I gotta give Ms. Boland a second on that one. Okay, Ms. Steinle, when you're ready, please.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
Yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Kanigo,
Yes.
Councilman Glass.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
Great. Happy swimming.
Congratulations.
Enjoy.
Best of luck.
We do want to say thank you very much. It's been a long process. We really appreciate the time. Stephen and Ed, you guys dealt with us, and we apologize for a lot of it. But we do appreciate the time that you guys took for this. It's been a long time coming. We get to go tell the girls so they can be really happy.
It was a lot of emails. A lot of emails.
We appreciate your patience with the transitions too. So best of luck.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, very good. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks.
All right, moving along in our agenda under new business, we're going to move now to our next application, which is James and Larissa Hunt. Property is 216 Dorchester Road, block 708, lot 20. A proposed two-story addition, one-story addition, front covered porch, patio, and driveway expansion. Looking for variance relief for lot coverage and improved lot coverage. I see the applicant is here. Good evening.
I'm the architect too. I'll be taking you through the plans as well.
Okay, great. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Let's get everybody sworn in.
All right, if you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
All right, and we'll start with Mr. Hunt. If you just please state your name and address for the record.
James Hunt, 216 Dorchester Road, River Edge, New Jersey, 07661.
Thank you.
Larissa Hunt, 216 Dorchester Road, River Edge, New Jersey, 07661.
All right, and Mr. Callahan, please state your name, business address, and provide the board some background on your qualifications. Even I know you've been before our board before, but just that your license is up to date, et cetera.
Sure. Yep. Brian Callahan, Callahan. Business address 40A Tillman Street, Westwood, New Jersey, 07675. And I'm a licensed architect in New Jersey, currently licensed. And have been before this board and several boards throughout Bergen County for more than the last 20 years. member of the American Institute of Architects and certified by National Council of Architectural Registration Boards as well. And I've
Questions
had
from the
my own
board as-
practice since '02.
Okay, thank you, sir. Questions from the board as to Mr. Callahan's qualifications? All right, there being none, I will turn to the applicant at this time and would ask you, if you would, for the benefit of the board, if you could just summarize your intentions as far as your proposed development.
Could I share the screen? Do you mind if I, Mr. Chairman, if I
Sure.
take?
By all means.
Thank you. All right, so I'm referencing a set of plans that were submitted to this for this application. The date on these plans is March 26th, 2024. The A1 sheet depicts the survey and the site plan, or not a site plan, but the survey on which I've superimposed the proposed additions. There are some important pre-existing non-conforming conditions with respect to this property. It is currently 6,738 square feet, where 7,500 is the minimum lot area. It is also deficient in lot width. It's 60 feet wide, where 75 feet is the minimum lot width. There is also a side yard setback that is deficient on the left side. As you look at the floor plan or the survey here, we have 4.3 feet on that left side where we need 6 feet. So we are proposing a 2-story addition at the rear, flanked by a couple of 1-story additions. There is a covered deck in the back of the house now that would be demolished, and this new addition would be in that general area. We're also adding a 12 by 14 patio. I know from previous applications that patios are important. And we're seeking 2 variances, one for lot coverage and one for improved lot coverage. And in my professional opinion, they're both kind of small variances. We're seeking 26.2% of lot coverage, where 25% is the maximum allowable. And we're going to end up at a 37% improved lot coverage, where 35% is the maximum allowable. And just to reiterate too, we have this undersized lot and we're only a couple percentage points over. The other couple other aspects to the improvements that we're proposing are a covered porch in the front, and also proposing to expand the driveway. And with that, we're not contemplating or not proposing a expansion of the curb cut, but rather when you came into the driveway, once you got past the property line, we would like to widen that out. As I go through the plans, the next sheet depicts the foundation plan. So we are proposing a full basement under the addition. The first floor plan is depicted on the A3 sheet. The walls that are shaded in are new. So the new addition would contain a family room, an office, and a guest bedroom on the first floor. There is a small kitchen in the back of the house now that would become a walk-in pantry and sort of circulation space into the new addition. I would also say that even though we are deficient in lot width, we are conforming with the new work is conforming with the side yard setbacks. So we've sort of tried to work it out so we're not seeking relief from any setbacks. The next sheet depicts the second floor plan, and you can see on the second floor plan the first floor roofs below. So we're not those are just 1-story additions. The second floor plan depicts the new primary suite. We are sort of changing out. There's a small bedroom. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this type of house. There's a small bedroom in the top right corner now currently. That's going to be converted to a laundry room and some closet space for a new bedroom in the addition. So at the end of the day, we have 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms on the second floor. Subsequent sheet starts to depict the exterior elevations, and we will be complying with building height. We're proposing a stone veneer wainscot, some standing seam metal roof, shed roof, and roof over the covered porch as well. And the sub A5 has the front and right side elevations, and A6 depicts the rear and left side elevations. So currently, this is the left side elevation depicts the garage space. And just to reiterate, we would not be going over that space. That is currently the wall that's only 4.3 feet from that left property line. So again, just to reiterate, we're here, in my opinion, because of the undersized lot and the narrowness of the lot. And with that, we are seeking those variances of 1.2% in lot coverage and 2% in improved lot coverage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Callahan.
you.
Let me turn to our professionals first. Mr. Depkin.
I have nothing else to say. I think Mr. Callahan hit it on the head. He mentioned every item that is necessary, and the undersized lot, and the fact that the existing is shy on the west side, but his proposed addition complies with the setbacks, and I think he's right. It's 1.2%. And for the building coverage, and 2% for the lot coverage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Flores.
I have a couple of questions for the architect. Before that, I want to put out on the record that the variances that it's being seek are just the lot coverage and improved lot coverage, like Mr. Lepkin said, is 1.2% on the lot coverage for the dwelling itself, and is 2% on the improved lot coverage. And I for the patio for the architect, are you any particular material that the patio is going to be in the back, like regular pavers, environmental pavers?
Right now, regular pavers, but that's it really hasn't been specified yet.
A suggestion, like if you
Yes.
if you do environmental pavers and you build it properly, 21 inches of stone, that will cover your instead of installing a seepage pit, that will act as your small detention system over there. So if you want to do environmental paver, maybe your clients are up for installing environmental pavers in that area, that would be great.
Okay.
So the increase on it from the existing, that's for the record, from the existing impervious lot coverage to the new proposed impervious lot coverage is an increase roughly of 912 square feet. And we need to mitigate that, implementing, like I said, some seepage pit, environmental pavers, with a lot of stone underneath. All that can be taken care of during the soil movement permit, but just want to be aware that some mitigation needs to happen here, and some, and part of that mitigation of stormwater management, you need to have to do some soil testing to make sure it's going to percolate, and proper, you gotta properly size the seepage pit or the environmental paver that you're going to install there. I have a quick question for you. Another question. Look, I didn't see no building height, so I just want to make sure that whenever you if the application gets voted yes, when at the end of the day when they provide an as-built, just to include a calculation on the as-built, that would be great. So we know that the building height wasn't exceeded.
So building height is shown here in the zoning chart on A1, and it's
Sure.
also shown on the exterior elevation on the A5 sheet. The top drawing has a dimension on the left-hand side that depicts the height of 28 feet.
Okay, 28 feet. All right. That's good. So it's not going to exceed the existing height that is happening there. Okay, that's good. That's good. You clarify. All right. So thank you. This is a good clarification. And then the only thing I want to put out for the board, and this is more like for, you know, for interpret, so I have to put that on the record. The ordinance 416-41 regarding the off-street parking is being met. You know, so you met the, you know, the board ordinance on the off-street parking. However, on the RSIS, you know, you need a variance because you are required to have 3 off-street parkings, which you are providing only 2, based on the number of bedrooms that the dwelling has.
Wouldn't
I
the
just wanna
garage
put
be a
that-
third?
Well, the garage and what happened is the garage counts as a 1, and then whatever you have on the outside counts only as a 1, because you need to have 9 by 18, and you don't have, so you will have to have a width of 36 feet. So you don't have that right now. So that's a small deviation. So that's something that the board needs to take in consideration when they vote on
sorry,
the
a width-
application.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? A width of what?
So right now, what's the width of the driveway or the proposed driveway?
I'm gonna say approximately 20 feet.
20 feet. And what's the length of it?
From the, well, before it widens out, 30.8 feet. That's the setback on the survey now from the front property line to the house.
And what's the size of the garage inside of?
Go on. I would say it's probably 10 by 18, give or take. It's enough
All
for
right, so is it
a small car. Yeah.
based on the scale, which doesn't have a dimension, I believe. We scale like 17, but if it's 18, just confirm.
Okay.
If it's 18, then you're gonna be in compliance. If it's less than 18, you're not gonna be in compliance.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So if it's something that needs to be confirmed.
Okay.
Other than that, when you do the soil movement applications, you're going to be required to do some soil because you're adding a basement, correct,
Yes,
to the
yes.
addition. Okay,
Yep.
so you're gonna be required to provide some grading on some sort of small
Engineered
site plan
site
with some
plan.
grading, engineer site plan showing you know, showing the existing grading and showing how much soil is being moved, just in order, you know, just to avoid any issues after it's being constructed that you guys raise the property without, you know, without approval or anything
Sure.
like that. So other than that, I don't have any other comments.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Flores. Now let's turn to the board now for questions. Mr. Pfeffer, I'll start with you.
I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor.
No, I think the argument, given that this is undersized lot and the 2%, and I did some quick calculations, and they may be incorrect, but at 6,738 for the current size lot instead of the 7,500, 37% appears to me to be 2,493.06. Whereas if it was a standard size lot, 35% would be 2,628. We do have water concerns, but I know that Costa Associates will take care of that. And so I have no questions, and I'm comfortable with this this request.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Boland.
Yep, I have nothing to add.
Okay, Mr. Knigo.
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Councilman.
Not really directly related, but where are we at with considering the modifications to the code with respect to this application?
This application was submitted prior to the ordinance being adopted that changed the requirements for maximum lot coverage and building coverage. So we're still applying, this application has the benefit of the old version of the ordinance.
So you're saying the modifications don't apply to this application?
Correct. Since the application was submitted before the ordinance was adopted, the old requirements would still apply. Only applications that are submitted after the ordinance is adopted will have to comply with the new requirements.
That's it for me, Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Mr. Merman.
Yes, I have a couple as usual. Mr. Callahan, you did not show the location of your AC units. I think we would like to see those on a drawing. And you can tell us where they are now, because there are certain areas of the parcel that we kind of restrict them from.
Right, so I would say where they are now, I'd have to ask the owners. I'm not positive, but I know that I think we have plenty of room to put them in a conforming
Right.
location. Yeah,
All right. So
There's nothing there now. We don't have central
there's
air.
nothing there. Okay,
Window units.
that's
You-
why.
you-
That's why they're not shown.
okay. I have a couple of others, and while we're on this site plan, I'm gonna throw you a suggestion. You currently have a concrete walkway on your left side of the dwelling that goes from the driveway to a shed. What would happen if you remove that concrete driveway, concrete walkway, and relocated your shed to the rear yard, and the shed could be either tucked under the deck, or I think if it's the same size shed or thereabouts, it could be more functional. Throw
There-
that out for you.
Yeah, there's
Your
no shed. There's it says frame shed, but that's in lot 21. That's not in our property.
Oh, I see that. Okay, all right, got it. Yes, it was not clear.
If I can,
that-
that's just the walkway around the side of the garage on that side. There's nothing special.
Would it still be needed under the current layout?
Yeah, I think just to walk, we take our trash
Okay.
cans down that sidewalk. That's just, how we walk around to the back of the house.
Okay, very good. So you do not have a shed then?
No shed.
Okay. Could you scroll up to your next drawing?
Sure.
Actually, I wanted to see, before I got there, I wanted to see the front elevation.
Okay.
There. I see the window up top on the roof. Is that an attic?
That's an attic that would not be habitable space.
Okay,
There's
All
no
right.
no headroom, not enough headroom to make it habitable. That's just for aesthetics.
all right, and maybe air handlers or something. Okay. Let's go down to your basement.
All right.
Okay. You have an alternate means of egress from the basement. You're showing in the upper right-hand corner. When I look at your elevations, it appears to be a Bilko hatch.
Correct. It's a Bilko door. Yeah.
Bilko. I guess part of this question is for Mr. Depkin. Is a Bilko hatch qualify as a alternate means of egress for safety? Because
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that was my whole point. So I think you're going to have to revise that, eliminate the Bilko hatch, and you might want to put in a regular basement exit with a stair.
Mr. Merman, I don't see anything there indicating that it's a bedroom.
It's not.
It would be it would be a bedroom area that would need two means of egress.
Well,
When they do those plans, I usually ask for a notarized letter from the applicant that it won't be a bedroom area unless they meet those conditions.
Well, you have a very, very large basement. And right now, there's only one means of egress, and that's
And
up the
that-
stairs.
And that meets the code in the state of New
Well,
Jersey.
That's all that's
It-
needed.
That's all it's
you-
needed.
That might be very true, but from a safety standpoint, to me, it's unacceptable. Can you put in an egress window somewheres?
Egress windows are required in sleeping rooms, and there is no sleeping room in this basement.
Okay, you're missing the point. You're trapping people down there. Okay, right now, regardless of what
This
the
meets
code says.
So
you're
the code is trapping people, not me. That's the
Well,
building code,
fine.
which is
Let's eliminate.
conservative.
Yes, right. Let's eliminate that condition. Is there any way we can eliminate that condition, regardless of trapping or untrapping of the code? I'm thinking of fire safety for the occupants.
I'm thinking of fire safety as well, and the code, which I have, that's what I rely on for fire
Okay.
safety. We can't say the code doesn't exist. We can't create new conditions for the code. We can't put the onus on this homeowner to build something that the
Okay.
code doesn't require.
So your answer is you refuse to do it.
My answer is the plans meet the code.
My answer is people are going to get trapped there. Okay, you're not going to get my vote if you don't have an alternate means of egress. Okay, let's put that right on the table.
Mr. Merman, is that a suggestion?
It's not a threat. It's the way I'm looking at it right now.
So,
can think about-
So if I might chime in, would the applicant agree to comply with Mr. Depkin's requirement to obtain the notarized letter that the area won't be a bedroom area, and we can put that condition in the application?
We have absolutely no issue doing that. It's not gonna be a bedroom, it's a basement.
Let me dwell on that. I don't know. I don't feel that I'm adequately protecting the public safety, physical safety. A letter is nice, but it's still gonna possibly result in a loss of life. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else I had here. I think you stated and testified that there is no which is no living space, no occupancy, no sleeping in the basement area. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, the owner testified to that. The owner testified that he would submit a letter saying that there would be no sleeping rooms in the basement. A few seconds ago.
All right, let's move on here. I think those are the questions I have and comments I have, and I still feel very strongly about that Bilko hatch, and I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Merman. Stanley, we don't have anyone in the audience, do we?
No, there are no members of the public.
Okay. There being no members of the public present, we will dispense with the need to open for public comment. I have no comments beyond the items that have already been raised by the various members of the board. So with that, I will ask for any further comments or questions from either the board or the professionals. Okay, there being none, I will look for a motion on this application, please.
once again, Mr. Chairman, permit me to attempt. The lot coverage permissible is 25%. And the proposed is going to result in 26.2, I believe. Mr. Flores, correct me if needed. The improved lot coverage is permitted 35%. And if I heard Mr. Flores right, we propose is about 37%. And what was the final decision on the parking variance? Was there one required or not? I know you went back and forth.
He is going to confirm that the width meets the width of the garage meets 18 feet. That's all.
So why don't we just grant them a parking variance right now?
Yeah, and if it's
Right.
not
Yeah.
necessary, then it won't
Correct.
be,
It
won't
becomes
apply. Yeah.
okay. Very good.
Right.
I will also note that the Costa report had many conditions and to be met, and I'll automatically incorporate those into the motion. 1 second. Now, is there anything else that I missed?
Just to confirm with the applicant, they're okay complying with the conditions referenced in Costa Engineering's report?
Yes.
Okay. And you're proposing to submit a letter regarding the safety with that Bilko hatch.
Was that a question?
Yes.
I think
So they would be the architect would have to submit a letter.
That's we're fine submitting the letter, and to be perfectly honest with you, I appreciate your concern for the safety in the basement, and being that it's not required by code, I don't see that we should be held to it, but it is something that I think we would consider looking at, and I appreciate your concern. Thank you.
Okay.
So just to be clear, the letter is just going to state that the basement will not be used for sleeping purposes.
Yep, and if it does become a bedroom area, then you will have to comply with the code.
Understood.
Okay. And that, okay, I hear you. How can we kind of clarify that into this? Can we make it a deed requirement or something?
I would suggest putting a note in the plans that it won't be a bedroom area, but if it does be, or it's not intended to be a bedroom area, but if
Okay.
it does, then it will be compliant.
Okay. So, Mr. Callahan, you heard that you will alter the basement, the floor plan accordingly. Is that acceptable?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. I believe that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there a second for the motion, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pfeffer. Ms. Steinle, when you're ready.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Caslin,
Yes.
Ms. Boland,
Yes.
Mr. Merman,
With regret on the safety, yes.
Mr. Pfeffer,
Yes.
Mr. Kenigo,
Yes.
Councilman Glass.
Yes.
All right, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Congratulations. Best
Thank
of
you,
luck
Mr.
with
Chairman.
best
Thank
of
you.
luck with your project.
Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Hunt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, have a
Thanks.
great evening. With that, we've reached the end of our agenda this evening, unless anyone on the board has anything to discuss.
I do. Who was the second on that motion? This
Mr.
last
Mr.
one.
Mr. Pfeffer.
Mr. Pfeffer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Just a reminder, we do have a meeting on for the 24th. So we will be, we have a couple of applications being heard that evening. But we do have, we are canceling our the first August meeting, and we'll reconvene again later in the month, the second meeting.
Mr. Chairman, forgive me if this was discussed, I just can't remember it. Are we going over these ordinances? Like this issue that Mr. Merman raised tonight is a fair issue. You know, I think we addressed it right this evening. But if there's a safety issue that, you know, one of our professionals here on the land use board has addressed, we may need to address the ordinances. And it's not us, obviously, the council has to address them, but it's for us to send some of these, you know, issues to the council and say, these are concerns we have. And we should be probably like going over the entire ordinance, you know, all our ordinances with that in mind for us to give comments and, you know, certainly use Mr. Merman's knowledge and experience and everybody else, Ms. Boland, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have that experience, but, you know.
Well, it's a fair point, but Ms. Steinley, I see you nodding your head. Is it a municipal code or is it a state construction code issue?
No, it's not a local ordinance. It would be the state construction code and uniform fire code, which the borough just adopts the model ordinance, state ordinance. They don't have a say over the changes of the.
I did not know that, then never mind. I would draw my whatever this was.
No, and certainly appreciate the aspects, you know, bringing those things to people's attention. Maybe that's something they overlook, but as long as they're code compliant, they're code compliant.
I mean, now we know that we don't have any choice in
Anything
it, so
further?
that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. Anything further from anyone? If not, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Boland. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pfeffer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 8:40 p.m. Good evening, all.
Good
night.
night.
Good
See you on
night.
the
Good
24th.
evening,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.